Good evening and welcome to the Police Accountability Board meeting. It is now 6:30, Wednesday, 28th, 2025. First thing on the agenda is take a minute to look at the actual agenda and approval of the agenda.
Recording in progress.
Are there any changes to the agenda? Do I hear an approval as written?
I move to approve the agenda.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda is approved as written. Chair updates, the PAB ACC Community Outreach. We have set up between the Police Accountability Board and the ACC, we're going to do 3 outreach programs later this year. The dates are all confirmed. Wednesday, July 16th at the Calvert Library, Wednesday, July 23rd, Southern Branch Library, and Wednesday, August 6th at the Twins Beach Branch Library. Ed and I will be there, and there will be a representative from the Sheriff's Department at each one. Any questions or comments on that?
Do you want PAB members to show up too?
Everybody is welcome to come.
Okay.
If you're able to come to any of them, you're welcome to come. Now I have the PAB complaints cases. As you can see, from January 1 to May 13th, there were 8 that were received. 7 were reviewed by the ACC. 1 complaint not eligible for review, meaning that it could have been for Maryland State Police, it could have been not involving a citizen, could have been detention center. Cases pending ACC review is 4. Cases resulting in administrative charges is 1. ACC charge and agreement with the Sheriff's Office findings is 1 as well. Any questions? And Michael worked this up as a little more of a visual for the PAB complaint cases. You can see it follows what we just talked about, but it's just presented in more of a visual aspect. Is that beneficial?
For me.
Okay. There is upcoming PAB and ACC member training. This year, the ACC in-service training will be June 24th, and the PAB and support staff they've included this year will be June 26th. Due to budgetary restraints, this training will only be conducted at Sykesville at the Maryland Police Training and Standards Commission. So the training is not required, it's not mandatory, it's highly recommended. It's a time to refresh on the information that you previously received. It's also a very good time to present questions or concerns that you might have as far as specific things that you want answered. So it would definitely be something. You do have to go online though, and you have to sign up and register for the class.
Is there a link for that?
I have it written down.
Okay.
I have it written down, so at the end, if anybody wants the link, you can copy the link, and you just click on that then, and it'll take you right to the form, fill out the form, and then they'll send you, it's normally the same day that you get the email response that you are signed up for the class, and it's 9 to 4. Under PAB resources, there was some questions and concerns as to how to get to meeting agendas or the different things on our website. So there's the meeting videos and here you can see maybe the meeting agendas as to going into the county website and where you can find these to review. So if you had any questions or concerns, you could go back and check out a meeting. Also, didn't work. There are vacancies. They have been advertised on the website. There are positions that are up for renewal this year or replacement. Currently on the PAB, we have 2 vacant positions. So these will all need to be filled, and this is where you would go to apply to become, send your application in for them to consider. Any questions? I don't think it really concerns anybody here particularly, but. The PAB trending analysis, we have talked about that for quite a few months. The committee has met twice, and we've been gathering a lot of information, and the sheriff's office has been providing a lot of information to us upon request. And Michael's been digging up a lot of things out of archives to help us with some of the trending that we're looking at. Complaints by the sheriff, policies, how they've been addressed, the types of discipline that was provided for the different policy violations, complaints by calls for service, meaning the sheriff's office, I think if I'm correct, over 100, was it over 100,000 last year? Calls of service,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
believe.
Yes, ma'am.
And they have currently 171 officers, so that's a lot of calls for officers to address. And in the past, since July of '22, we've had like 15, 16, I think, officers that have been issued or had issues addressed with them through the sheriff's office and the ACC. So that's a pretty good number if you look at it that way. Year-to-year comparisons. One thing that was also suggested by the ACC is to break the complaints down by districts. And the sheriff's office has a map. They're redoing the map, but they sent me what they had currently as far as the 3 districts, so we can kind of go backtrack and look and see what district we're getting a lot of complaints in. And that will be total complaints that have come in, not total complaints that are valid, just complaints that are coming in. What I'd like to do is ask all the members, what other types of trending do you think we should be looking at? Is there something in specific that you can think of? I mean, as we go along, we're looking to present this in August, the different trends. And this will be more of a live document, meaning that it will continue to evolve. Every meeting there will be updated trends presented. And at any time, if anybody thinks of something, please bring it to our attention. We have a 4-member committee that's working on the trends, but we're looking for what is a good value, what actually is going to mean something to the sheriff's office, to us, to the citizens. Any questions?
Now, is that some type, could we actually get feedback from the community about different trends that maybe they have in mind?
Maybe at your PAB outreach.
That might be something that we can address at the outreach.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Some of
idea.
them Before your,
All 3 will be
3.
before our next meeting.
okay, well, there you go.
I think that's something we should bring up or have available for during the community outreach. maybe something we can ask the community.
Like a survey?
Do you
And it
think a
doesn't-
survey, or just simply ask them at the meetings, or what do you think is gonna be best?
I think maybe just asking them, maybe.
Ed, I think we can do that. We'll just include that at the end or something, because there is a presentation that we're going to give, as far as what the PAB is, what the ACC is, what our responsibilities are. And then we'll have a question and answer time, but before that, we could let them know about the trends and if they had any specific suggestions that they were looking for. Anything else? Okay. I think we covered everything.
Susan, we missed the recommendation under new business and the recommendation under old business.
Just skip the whole thing. Thank you. All right, recommendations. Recommendation due to ACC reviews, reinforced training for deputies on complying with policy 1-906F, police citizen encounters, requesting the presence of supervisory deputies to allow citizens to voice their field contact or enforcement-related concerns. If an officer or officers stop a citizen and a citizen requests for a supervisor, sometimes that's not always granted. There might be specific reasons for that, that only, I guess, the sheriff can address. Any discussions on that? Questions on that?
I would imagine there'd be some occasions when a supervisor is not available to respond quickly, so I don't know if that plays into this. I guess we'll have allow the sheriff to provide a little bit more information on that, but this is a long county, and if there's not a supervisor who's readily available, that may be the reason why.
It could depend on the time of day, and is a supervisor already being tied up somewhere else? But if a citizen asks for a supervisor, they at least have to give some sort of response.
What is the response now? If somebody is not available?
I'll step up here.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing?
Good evening.
Good. The recommendation, I saw this on the agenda. Typically, supervisors are working in the 3 districts. Quite frankly, if a supervisor's asked, we try to get there as soon as possible, as you said, if they can do that. Sometimes they're doing other tests at the office where they're held up. At the detention center, there's a lot going on with the supervisor, the phones, all that. So if there were some folks in these complaints are requesting a supervisor immediately as they're stopped, and like I'm telling the citizens out there, you have to comply with that traffic stop, even if a supervisor does not show up on the scene. You still have to comply with it. At the same time, too, we can't keep somebody there all day on the side of the road. We had to keep the reasonable time unless there's an investigation that's occurring at the time being. So we're going to try to get a supervisor, and if you're requesting one, as soon as possible. If one's not available, you have me or the complaint to the sheriff's office you can put in if you have any concerns or questions, and also this board too, to allow the people to feel like if they're mistreated that they can voice their opinion on. But some of these cases, they're requesting it as soon as the deputy's not even up to the window and they're requesting a supervisor. So they can't even get out why they're being stopped or who they are before they're requesting that, so.
But should the officer always at least attempt to request a supervisor?
Absolutely, they do.
And
They do.
if one isn't available, are they instructed with
Correct.
kind of what to
Usually
tell the
they'll make
citizen?
that available. If that request comes from the complainant or whoever's requesting one, they'll tell them that the supervisor's not available. And sometimes they're unhappy to hear that, but I mean, sometimes that's the case. And if you, like I said, comply with the traffic stop, if you felt like you're mistreated or whatnot, you can complain to the sheriff's office or this board. Or your day in court, you can be heard by the judge, the ultimate decider on what's happening or what's occurring or why you're stopped or so. Sometimes debating on the side of the road is not for debating, it's for, you know, the safety of the officer getting off the side of the road and getting you out of there. And like I said, some people wind the windows up and you still have to comply to that traffic stop.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's my concern, is that these encounters shouldn't be elongated any more than they already are.
Correct. You have a reasonable time limit. You can keep somebody on the side of the road. That's the law. So, unless you're doing an investigation, there's something else in the car that the officer may think that's inside the car. So, I mean, reasonable time limits on that side of the road is.
If there's a legitimate need, I see a TikTok trend where they just, as soon as the police officer approaches and identifies themselves, you get I want a supervisor, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to request one, but, you know, as you stated, they still need to comply with the request for, you know, a driver's license or other information, you know, registration card, insurance, while they're waiting, and if a supervisor's not available, then you're saying that they have other avenues that they can take.
Correct.
Are they provided that information?
Yes. Usually the deputy will tell them that. And tonight, if they're watching, they feel like they've been mistreated, they can call me. I make myself available to everyone.
How often, and I know this is on more of a training issue, but how often is that reinforced with the officers that if a citizen requests that they want a supervisor, that the officer has to either make that call or advise as to why the supervisor isn't available?
They'll usually give that where the officer's either tied up or usually you'll hear the radio transmission either on the body camera or you'll hear the complainant will hear it. Like you said, social media is driving not only our community but our nation. And like I said, I want to tell the people that, you know, if you're stopped, comply with what the deputy tells you to do. You're out of there as soon as you can. And then if you want to make a complaint you're mistreated, then you have your options available. But as you get your driver's license of privilege, correct? And if, you know, these are the certain, you're taught in driver's ed on a traffic stop what you're supposed to provide to a uniformed law enforcement officer, you have to do that. And we've been changing the culture since I've been elected as sheriff, and I think we're trending towards being more approachable to the community, and that's what we want to be, that kind of sheriff's office. So. And at the same time, I mean, traffic's terrible out there, and we have to make traffic stops. We have to be visible. Speed, traffic, accidents are still up. Where the number I do not like still. Roads are still small. The roads are still the same size when I grew up here. So we all have to share the road, and we all have to, you know, drive safely and stay off your cell phone and be attentive to the roadway. So.
Major Dave Cannon here. For the record, we had a case that involved this without getting into detail, but it's already in the policy for them to request it, right? So agency email went out to all personnel saying, hey, just a reminder of this policy. This is what it states. These are the reasons why. So
Okay,
it's
so
a quick
it's already
quick
been-
refresher. Yep.
You've already resolved the
Yep.
concern. Okay. Okay. So then we won't need to make a recommendation because it's already resolved. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
There are PABACC vacancies. We have 2 vacancies now. Oh, he's waving at me. Can I still talk? Oh. We have 2 vacancies in the PAB now. 2 have resigned. and we have 2 that are up for renewal. We have 2 on the ACC that are up for renewal by the end of July, and 1 on the trial board that ends in August. These have all been advertised. I know that one that has to be replaced on the board is a retired police officer, or I don't think it's just called retired police officer, but it's of that standing.
Noted.
Any questions on that? Old business. We had talked about this at previous meetings, complaints issued by an officer in reference to another officer's misconduct while dealing with the public. Is there any update on that?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is there any update on complaints issued by an officer in reference to another officer's misconduct?
Yes, it's already stated in our policy. Yeah, it'll be an internal investigation if we do that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then it would only come to the PAB if it was not resolved within your office?
Correct.
Right.
But I've been very transparent with you guys. You've seen pretty much everything, so, or everything.
We are now to presentation of your office.
The first quarter of 2025 was busy. As you can see, I gave you guys the annual report. Those online that are listening, you can watch it, or you could pull it up on our website there too as well. We make that readily available to the public and everybody else. During the first quarter of this year, we conducted weekly and quarterly staff meetings to include our captain's meetings and also our quarterly staff meetings with the entire office. So that's been working out well for us in the communication and stuff like that, and to getting things done. Attended the county and regional recruitment fairs. So recruitment is trending still down for law enforcement, and we want to get ourselves out there in front of this issue that we're seeing nationwide. So my objective is to hire the most qualified and most professional deputies that work on our streets, and we've been out there, military bases or even our local job fairs at our schools. If you know anybody out there that's that would want to wear the uniform, that wants to make a career out of this, please send them my name. So we're looking for some fine people to fill the positions. We've met with government leaders to push legislations for those parties that are occurring in rental homes and stuff like that. I know there's a lot of issues occurring during the summer months. People would rent out houses and throw parties that are ticketed, and so we tried to push legislation, which did not pass through this session, but we're going to work on that again next session as well, because I wouldn't want my neighbor to have a couple hundred people there that are not even from our in your community parking on your streets and your yard. And I just think that's unacceptable, and we're working hard to get that pushed through as well. So hosted CIT training. The critical incident training, which we can talk about, which we have during our training that I put together for you guys. We host this training. It's going really well. We trained hundreds of officers and deputies throughout the state at our sheriff's office, which we're very proud of. Finalizing the CCSO Foundation, which I'm really proud of, and which we can have folks donate money to that foundation, which we help people in need in our community, and I think it'll work out well. Me, trying to help the homeless and feed people that are hungry. That's my objective with our foundation, and giving to our youth organizations as well. I met with the Calvert County Public Schools to discuss safety and the panic button technology that we're going to try to implement in our schools. I think safety in schools is paramount, and that's one of my things moving forward as the sheriff. I want to make sure our schools are safe, and also our students and our staff and our bus drivers.
What is the panic button?
Basically, if a teacher or a staff member inside that school at any time in that building, they can hit the panic alarm button, which will alert us immediately.
Oh, okay.
The faster we're there, the faster we get there is ultimate and a key in an active shooter situation.
So all the schools have that? button?
It's not available yet, but we're working on it.
Oh, you're working on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice.
Oh,
And it's directly tied to our 911 dispatch center. Studying a lot of active shooters and seeing throughout our nation, time is key for us getting there. So as fast as we know about it, the faster we get there, the faster we can save lives in these situations.
Is that something that's gonna go in every classroom or just in the main office?
So my recommendation was every staff member have it. So it's up to the school board and the superintendent to push it down to the staff members.
That's
That-
wonderful.
Yes.
1 second. Quentin is online, and he has his hand raised.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Sheriff Collins.
I'm looking to my right like you're standing here, but you're online.
How you doing?
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I just wanted to ask back on those recruitment. First of all, I think the panic button is a great idea, so that's good to hear. On the recruitments, though, what are your percentages right now that you're trying to recover from? I don't have the report in front of me, so I just wanted to ask about that. And then I heard you mention the recruitments that you're doing and efforts to get to the schools and things like that. Is there a program at the CTA that you guys partner with or have looked at partnering with the Board of Ed to establish that could even be an avenue for our young people to kind of head into the law enforcement area?
We do. I'm a product of the criminal justice program at our public school system, and a lot of those kids that are in that program, we either hired or they're a federal agent somewhere else or they're with another agency, but that program seems to work out really well. So the kids that are not in the program, I would like to see more interest in. Maybe the CTA can put together something else that the kids are interested in, but that usually the criminal justice program pathway is kind of like a good program for the kids to pursue that, some type of a career in law enforcement. Recruiting is down everywhere else, but I think we have the best sheriff's office in the state. I'm not being biased, but we don't have any vacancies right now. But me being a forward thinker, we want to have, if we do come on that crisis, we'll have people available ready to go. So we do have a waiting list right now, but we don't have 0 vacancies right now.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I'll just add to that too. We also have a Sheriff's Office Explorer program. It's like a kind of like a, I don't want to say a cadet program, but it's for people that aren't eligible to be police yet because of their age, high school students right out of high school, and they can join our Explorer program to be a volunteer with the Sheriff's Office. And they learn different rules and stuff like that, and it's also another pathway. They help out at certain events. They get a little uniform. They meet once a month and just learn the basics of being a police officer.
And they have to be 21 to be a police officer?
Correct.
In the state of Maryland. It's
But
Maryland.
the benefit for me, I can hire them at 18 and they can work at the detention center, which you can, time carries over as a deputy, so you can your time starts at 18 years old, which is awesome. I tell the kids that when I talk to them, that you can retire at 43 years old and start another career after that. My time in the military counted, so Calvert County gives you 4 years of your military service counted. So that counts as well too. So we like to hire a lot of military veterans as well too, that come right out of the military. Also, this quarter we've hosted multiple private and homeschool demos. I like to reach all the kids out there. There's a lot of homeschool kids. There's more homeschool kids than I really thought there was. So we've been trying to reach out to these homeschools and get them into the sheriff's office, show them what we do, what our job's like, and it's been very beneficial to us as well. And we do Mr. Crow does the Day of Law and has all that private school. He visits the detention center, the courthouse, the sheriff's office, state police barracks, which is kind of neat too as well. And I think he does that all on his own time, which is very beneficial to those kids. Participated in Southern Maryland Intelligence Committee meetings, which is a tri-county committee. Which we're talking about trends, crime trends we're seeing out there, which works out really well with that communication piece. And we're talking what's going on, which we've closed a lot of cases on these meetings, which is really neat to see. We installed a new med box in Dunkirk District 1 station. So anybody that can drop their meds off safely and we dispose of them. And the NAM Knights donated that box to us, which we're very thankful of. And now we're working on District 3, so you don't have to come all the way to Prince Frederick to drop your meds safely off at the Prince Frederick office, and so you can do it either one. So that's awesome too. As those district stations got it off the ground, working really well, and we're going to get as many amenities in those offices as we can to help you out, so you can stay in your district there, and you don't have to drive all the way all over Calvert County trying to get what you need to get done. So.
Do you see a reduction in burglaries in Dunkirk area now that you have that?
We do.
Set officers up there?
Yes, ma'am. The
Excellent.
visibility part's been huge.
Yeah.
And then having those available is keeping those deputies inside those districts. Before we put those there, they would have to drive to Prince Frederick even to get gas, which was kind of crazy, but giving the deputies gas cards so you may see them at the gas station, and also staying inside that district improves response times and keeps those deputies inside those districts if something happens or occurs.
That's good.
We also attended and participated in drug court graduation, which I'm very proud of, trying to get these folks that are battling addiction on their feet, which Judge Chanley puts together a very well-oiled program that gives people another opportunity to get out there and be successful and be productive citizens. We also graduated the IOP program at the detention center, which is a very nice program to where we get these people out of the detention center and get them on their feet and get them back into society too as well, which really is really neat to see these people improve their lives in these programs. And I just got the number today. We got 38 GEDs through the detention center in the last 5 years. That's huge too as well.
Wow.
In the last 2 years, I think we doubled that number, and then we got to about 38 GEDs now, and I think we're working on 5 now as well. So getting those folks off the ground and trying to get them back in society and being productive.
That's excellent.
Sheriff, can you tell us what IOP stands for?
It's intensive outreach program.
Okay.
Yeah, it's these a lot of the things we see in the detention center now is mental illness. With all the facilities closing up in the state of Maryland, it's a lot of the detention centers have almost turned into mental health hospitals in a sense. So, and training the deputies is tough too as well on how to handle people with mental illness and stuff like that, and to get the meds that they need is huge. And it's been a battle not just with us but the entire state. So with all those institutions closing down, so we were holding this morning about 105 people inside. And about 60 plus people in there are battling some kind of mental illness in there. Mm-hmm. So, just the public hearing that we need more funding in mental health is huge. And sometimes these people don't need to be incarcerated, they need help. And then, trying to get them on the right meds and back to serve their time or whatever they did, so they're healthy when they get back on a normal life. So it's actually pretty sad to see, but that's the reality. I attended the League of Women's Voters meeting and answered questions. One of them went very well this quarter. And I hosted the first session of the Sheriff's Office Citizen Police Academy, which I'm proud of. We have 10 participants in that, and they've seen everything that we do from top to bottom, every from investigations to special operations to crime lab tech to patrol, even the range, the jail, detention center, and what we do down there as well. I got very good feedback of that. We held it at 10 people for this one, and we're looking at doubling next year's. If anybody's interested, we'll probably host it again first quarter next year. And just to end this,
Now, how would anybody apply for that?
we will announce it on our website, and they can fill out the application.
Okay.
We have a very good, diverse group in there as well right now, and they're really enjoying it. It seems like so. And just to close out, Kalia, we started this process, which has been very long and very intensive with paperwork and double checking and all of our policies and procedures and stuff like that. But it looks like Kalia. We're on pace to make it happen pretty soon, so
Oh,
which we,
wonderful. It's a lot of work.
It is. We had it before and got away from it, and then Mr. Perrin, I made him a promise I would get us accredited again, and it's going to happen probably. I'm looking at the goal is by the end of the year. So,
Oh, that's great.
but it is it's very intensive. Your inspections and getting everything up to par for their accreditation has been a long process.
Now, there's a lot of maintenance with that as well.
Correct. Yeah.
afterwards.
Yep. You get audited, checked, and it's going to be great for not only us but the community as well too. Yeah. Sergeant Parsons has worked really hard on that, and he's been dedicated just to that CALIA process. Yeah, I went to Florida, and we you have to go to the convention every year and basically have breakout classes and stuff like that, and what people are doing, how to. I mean, it's more communicative networking program. So if you're having issues, you can reach out to other agencies to see how they're doing things. But it's very neat to see how some folks do it throughout the nation. But Sheriff Berry in Charles County has been helping me out a lot too as well with that process, and I think it's going to be good for everybody.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's been a long haul.
And just to add a little piece to that, we're going to looking at getting our jail certified too as well. So that's on the horizon. Sorry to be long drawn out as a long quarter, but calls for service we talked about is 26,185 just in this quarter. Traffic citations just over 1,500. Accidents are still high at 431. I'd like to see that number.
Where do you have your most accidents?
It's Prince Frederick, the congestion there. I mean, it's 231's always a battle. We were slotted to get 6 phases to upgrades in that on 231, and that funding got cut. But it was going to turn out really well. We were going to get the road widened, turn lanes, because the scariest part is when somebody tries to make a left-hand turn onto a driveway on 231, and they get hit in the rear. We had a bus hit there this quarter, rear-ended there because just people not paying attention. We found out most of these accidents on Route 231. We put the speed truck out there, which monitors and gives us data and feedback of what's occurring on there. It wasn't the speed, it was distracted driving. So the speed was, we had a few on there that were ridiculous on there, but it wasn't the speed too as well. And it's a season for motorcycles to think they can do whatever they want, so that's probably what it was. So distracted driving is huge. So if anybody's listening, please pay attention. There's young drivers out there, and do the speed limit. Also, stay off your cell phones. That's huge too. So yeah. So that's also 78 DUI arrests. Again, I would like to say if you can get a sober driver, get one. There's everybody has a cell phone, so you can make that call to someone. Heck, I'll even pick you up. My phone rings all night long, so that's why my hair is getting a little bit more gray. I'm not getting any rest, but if you can't get a driver, get one. And traffic warnings is right around 8,500 traffic warnings this quarter. So they're out there working, and they're working hard, being visible, and trying to slow Route 4 down. So we're working on it. And we saw an influx with federal government workers going back to work in the mornings. Traffic on Route 4 has been doubled up, and I think it took a little time to get used to folks getting back to work. And trust me, I don't want to pull anybody over for speed. Folks trying to get back to work, but just try to obey the speed limit. And that's all I have for this quarter. Like again, if you want to read it, and people listening online, you can find it right on our website. Actually, I want to touch on the drug portion. So there. Drugs are still out there, as we've been seeing through St. Mary's, Charles, and PG, and Anne Arundel, all who surround us. As you can see, the cases initiated with 30, felony arrests 23, misdemeanor 36, and the money seized, vehicle seized, and so these deputies are working really hard. And my worry is our young generation. And the drugs out there are dangerous. The fentanyl is real, and it only takes one time, and that's what the kids do not realize. And that's my focus on trying to get DARE back into our schools, because these kids need to know what it looks like and how it reacts to your body, short-term and long-term. And we have implemented DARE back into our schools too, one by one, so.
One question, the Twin Beach Patrol, is that separate from the Northern District, or is that included?
Correct, yes.
A total separate entity? So then there's actually kind of like 4 groups?
Yes, ma'am. I work for 2 mayors too as well, North Beach and Chesapeake Beach, and they're wonderful. They're wonderful to work with, but they contract us. Back in the 80s, it used to be North Beach Police Department. So they contract us deputies that are assigned directly to that beach, the Twin Beach areas.
Okay.
Yep. First Fridays have seemed to be kind of very active. So if parents, if you drop your kids off, try to be attentive to the parents, to your kids. Some parents just drop their kids off and let them roam around, and then it seems like our juveniles fights that occur there at First Fridays in the beach seem to always occur during that day. So yeah, so please monitor your children if you can.
Okay. Did you have a presentation?
Yeah, you wanted me to get a list together of our training, which we did during the quarter.
Yeah, we have it. Daryl's gonna pull it up for you. I think you'll need the clicker, probably. Got it.
All right, so each year the state mandates that each certified officer has 18 hours of in-service training below the command level. So our academy, it's Tri-County Academy, they set the certain courses for this year's in-service. So if you go to the next slide here, these are all the courses that are required at our annual in-service for the Tri-County area. These are the courses that are provided. This is just at a minimum that cover those 18 hours.
So we work on trends too as well. So the training is set for that year on trends that we're seeing, human trafficking. So the deputies are up on speed on the implicit bias. They get that training too as well, ethics and hazard materials, and the criminal law updates is huge too because they're always changing. So the deputies get that every year.
Annual driver in service is the second year we're doing this. Last year was the first year we really kicked it off. And they go up to Cheltenham at the FLETC at the driving course up there, and they drive fast, and they drive on the course, and they do all kind of maneuvers, stuff that you don't typically get to do on a normal training day. And we got a lot of good feedback last year that it was good refresher training. You do it in the academy, but then it could be years before you do it again. So, and that's just, it didn't, the way we are down here with the guys need to know how to drive safely and be able to handle those maneuvers. So that was really good training.
So to just touch on this one, so we enforce the law in Calvert County. So if you run from us, we are going to chase you. So this keeps the deputies up to par on. They're not just chasing somebody just to chase. They're getting that training too as well. So we're actively training with that as well, and we try to do that at roll call trainings too. So. And
we got some money kickback from the insurance company to put that training on to help offset some of the costs.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep, from legit. We had some standard field sobriety tests. Again, this is just refresher stuff for you to get the stuff in the academy, unless you're really, this is your niche where you go to specialized training. A lot of guys don't get it. They get it with their experience. They get more comfortable with it, but it was just a refresher course for people to sign up and try to help increase some of the DUI arrests that the guys are doing out there. A lot of the stuff what they do is, if you're confident in what you're doing and you're sharp on your skills, you're gonna be better at it. So that was kind of the thought there. Roll call trainings, these are some of the different things that happen. That's kind of more of an informal stuff that's done at roll calls, right? So they show up to start the shift. The sergeant could have it planned. Anybody can kind of throw in and say, hey, this is what we're going to do this week. They might go find a place to do it. They might be a PowerPoint. It could be anything. It could be practicals. We're going to go over handcuffing, something simple like that. But they try to do roll call trainings as much as they can. So those are some of the ones that were done this year. Erin Farley from Calvert Health, she put on a LGBTQ awareness course. So that went through, and I'm going the wrong way here. And it's just helped them develop a clear understanding of how some of the LGBTQ prefer to be identified and some of the ways to communicate and address situations that they might not be, always faced with or see on a day-to-day basis. Advanced tactics course, this was a first for us this year. Some of our special operations team, which is our SWAT team members, put this course on for some of the patrol guys. There was a need with the patrol guys asked, we want more tactical training, right? And our SOT guys, they train every 2 weeks on tactics and all that stuff. They get all that extra training. And the patrol guys don't always get that. So this was a course they put on for, was it a week or 2 weeks? I'm not sure. I think it was a week long. They had to be nominated by their patrol supervisor and signed off on. So it was a group of, I think, 10, 12 guys that got to go to this first course, and they did more advanced tactics like a SWAT team would do. And they get to take that back to their squads and then do it at roll call training and stuff like that. So it was a really...
That's excellent.
Some people ask why, and when I tell them the why, active shooters, we want our deputies prepared,
Right.
not even in a school, but it could happen anywhere, a field, a park. We want our deputies ready to go when we get the call. And also our county has 2 critical infrastructures in our county that some people are not aware of, which are on the watch list, and we need to be ready to go if something occurs in those 2 facilities too as well. So that's why we do these things.
That's excellent.
All new deputies that come out of the academy go through a 2-week in-house training before they go out on their FTO program. Like I said, the academy is a tri-county academy, so they do all the basics, the general stuff, Maryland laws and all that stuff, but there's a lot of agency-specific things that they don't get necessarily as in-depth at the academy because they're trying to teach all 3 agencies. So when they come back here, they learn specifics on how we do this type of report or property record and things like that, and what the sheriff expects from them. So they get a 2-week course on that before they go to FTO.
And how long do they have a ride-along with a senior?
Field training.
It's broken down into hours, so it's roughly 2 months of training with another deputy.
And they have a big book they have to check off on all the things they have to do. It gets reviewed and turned into the to MPTC.
And if there needs to be remedials, they could be extended too as well. There's a lot that goes on in the police car these days. That you have to be, computer, radar, taser. I mean, all that's non-lethal, and there's a lot of pressure on new deputies doing the job these days. So.
Managing the crisis course. This one, I'm not sure about this one, to be honest with you. I don't know if this was an online course or if this is one we did in-house. It could have been one that they signed up through the NTOA. There's different ones they sign up for.
So this is free training that we could get, that the deputy can sign up for, which we had a lot of deputies sign up for this training. That's why we put it on here. So it's managing the crisis course, so it breaks it down from the initial call that we get to operations, to debriefing, to when it's over, and then clean up, stuff like that. So it was actually a good course.
Crisis intervention training, again, this is one that they host. We host 2 or 3 times, I think at least 3 times a year, and it's tri-county. It's deputies, and it's not only deputies. We've expanded to EMS, to correctional deputies, to the broader first responder world, and it's basically managing people in crisis. It's a national curriculum. The main instructors that put it on, and we have instructors that participate and host, and we host it and everything, but they come up from North Carolina every time to host this thing. It's a big deal. It's a week-long course. They got to do all kinds of scenarios and role playing, and it's pretty. Everybody that goes through it, even if they go into it thinking, it's not really what I signed up for. We kind of make them go. All the patrol deputies, they come out of there thinking, man, I really got a lot out of that. So
the biggest part about that training is learning how to talk to people, because the new generation, I don't really think they know how to talk to people because they've been on their phones and texting. But this training, de-escalation, is huge, and we've actually seen a lot of use of force. Every time a use of force occurs, we get a report on it. We read it, and it's documented, but we've seen actually a deduction in that, just learning how to talk to people. I mean, sometimes when you talk to people, you can get more out of them, and you don't have to put your hands on them, or you don't have to go to non-lethal. And we've seen that work out as well, and learning how to deal with people with special needs too as well. That's in that course, and how to identify that and how to manage it. You guys are welcome to too, because citizens have been on there too during that course. If one of y'all want to sit on that course, it's a week long.
Just different virtual trainings, you know, ever since COVID and all that stuff, the virtual training has really taken off. Places that offered courses before, you'd always have to drive to a place, which was fine too, but now you can get so much more done virtually when it's a PowerPoint presentation anyway and classroom discussion with no hands-on stuff. So we got a lot of that going on. All the new supervisors from the rank below lieutenant, they're going through a transformational coaching style leadership where they meet with our training coordinator, Keith Hicks, and then one of our lieutenants, Lieutenant Basham, and they have a book they have them read, and they go through the chapters, and they meet again to say, hey, what did you glean from that? And they kind of discuss it, and it's kind of more of a in-depth, hands-on approach to trying to develop leaders. That was one of the things that feedback we got from the deputies, that they want more leadership within the ranks. So that's where we started, and we're trying to develop that a little more. Annual firearms and taser training, we kicked off. You have to certify with your handgun twice a year. So that's a big deal, trying to get everybody down at the range and doing all their qualification courses. There's certain MPTC mandates that you have to get done each year. But on top of that, they've added, you know, situational shooting courses where they go, you know, they're trying to set up a vehicle down there and make it more realistic rather than just being static on the line and shooting. So we got our first round of that done, and we'll have to do another one in the fall. But our fire instructors are top notch, and they have a lot of good ideas for trying to mix it up and make it more real world situations. And same with the training, the taser training, they do that down there too. They have to certify every year if they carry a taser. They have to go through and take the PowerPoint from Axon and shoot a minimum number of cartridges. But it's also, again, we try to impose more situational stuff where they may not even need to use it. And what's the proper, is it a de-escalation thing? Is it lethal force? Is it less lethal? And try to run through extra scenarios beyond what's mandated.
Have any volunteers? I was
To be tased?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, thank you.
So we discussed in our meeting, you would like to see what we do. This is just a training that we've had just this quarter. So, I mean, it's a lot that we do, and training's huge on my part. And we've been pushing training out to everybody. And you asked me to get just this quarter, this is what we've done. So it's a lot in the job. It's a lot that we do. And we try to give the best product to not only you, but the citizens that live here. So.
And I think it's important for the citizens to realize that the officers are going through constant training of one kind or another.
Yep, that was just this quarter.
Yeah, that's a lot in one quarter.
It's impressive.
It is.
Yeah. They actually get, it's part of their annual evaluation is how much training they've put in for. And a lot of times, I mean, they may not to go to everyone. Some people put in for something every week. Obviously, they can't do that. But if the guy doesn't put in for any training, that's reflected on his evaluation for any additional training that he neglects to request.
And I'm not being biased again, but I think we have the best instructors in house. And again, it all comes down to money, right? I would train every day if I could, but this quarter I wanted to give you, just kind of update what we do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
Sheriff, is it just the orientation and the firearms, taser training? Are those the only mandatory ones, and the other ones that you guys listed are sort of at the officer's discretion or interest?
Yeah,
Were there others that were mandatory?
So we have deputies that specialize in different areas, so they'll have different specialized training that they have to keep up on. And also, as you turn with the first slide, or the third slide, was kind of like what the Police Training Commission mandates that we train on every year, like CPR, use of force, criminal law updates, and hazard materials, rape, sexual offenses.
Human trafficking, so all that whole list was mandatory.
Correct, yes. Ethics, implicit bias is another big one that we do too as well, and like human trafficking has been a trending is huge out there today, so we've been hitting that hard. And also identity fraud and just fraud in general has been huge out there. Tax season was miserable because everybody was fraud. And if the sheriff's office, if that number comes up, we're never going to request gift cards. We're never going to request money from you. So if you feel uncomfortable about that call, you can always call our office and double check. Please do that. Never send anybody gift cards for payment. Because we're seeing a couple thousand, $10,000 worth of gift cards folks are sending to people that's fraud. So
Bitcoin, the Bitcoin scam's a big one. Go to the Bitcoin ATM and transfer Bitcoin, and once they do it, they realize that didn't sound right, but it's too late at that point.
Yeah.
please, before you do it, please just double check with us, because it'll save us a lot of work in the end and also a lot of heartache and grief. So, and that's huge out there.
One quick question. When the PAB makes a recommendation for training, is that something that you all then initiate for everybody? Like if when a recommendation comes up and the PAB recommends training on speeding, I don't remember all the things that there were, but if something is made as a recommendation and the board agreed on it for you, is that something that
Yeah,
you-
so we, so my weekly captain meetings, when you give us a recommendation, we discuss it. And then that'll be, that your recommendation and the training will be initiated in the roll call trainings.
Okay.
And if it needs to be more in-depth, then we have more in-depth training on it.
We also have a online platform called Police One Academy. So if it's something that needs to be tracked, some of the in-service classes go through there, right? Where they can upload the training through this Police One Academy, then everybody gets it. It tracks who's done it, how long it took, and all that stuff, and it keeps a record, like a virtual training record. Something new that we've done the last couple of years.
Great. Any other questions for the sheriff's office? Any other?
No, as you can see, the calls for service is 26,000, and the number of the complaints we get, I think we're doing a good job out there.
Outstanding job.
Could we always do better? I think so. I mean, that's what this board for, and the recommendations are for, and as you're sitting on this board, you can kind of speak upon that I've taken them seriously.
Yes.
And every recommendation you got me, we've kind of put down to the ranks, and that CALIA certification will be hopefully done by the end of the year.
Great.
So.
Close it to you. Closer.
Me?
And thank you for your time and your dedication, and this is service to our community. We see these PABs throughout the state. I think I'm the only chief or sheriff that sits in these meetings. Very limited do that, and I just want to thank you for your service, because I think we do a good job. I think we set the standard on this,
Yes.
and I think brighter days are coming. So
Yep.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you
Thank
very
y'all.
much. Thank both of
Thank
you
you.
very much for all of your effort in presenting and providing information.
No problem.
Very informative. All right, the last thing on the agenda is the next two quarterly meetings. They will be held here, 6:30, 8/27/2025, and then, of course, December 3rd of 25, because the last Wednesday is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So it was always moved to the first week of December. Any other questions, concerns, or issues from any of the members? We're now at the point of public comment, and John, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the room for public comment? There is, excuse me, there's one person who's called in since the meeting began. Last four digits, 0133. If you wish to provide public comment, please press *9 on your phone. And that caller has not pressed star 9, so I'll dispense with reading, Madam Chair.
Okay, at this time, there's no public comment. I call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much. Motion adjourned.